Welcome, dear students. In this video, we will learn about the leaders who helped to unite the Muslims of the subcontinent during their struggle for independence from the British rule. The Muslims were inspired by the leaders like Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, who believed that when a nation becomes devoid of arts and learning, it invites poverty. And when poverty comes, it brings in its wake thousands of crimes. Sir Syed Ahmad Khan wrote many papers and articles in support of the Muslims after the War of Independence in 1857. To create a better understanding between the Muslims and the British. At that time, the Hindus were trying to make friends with the British and were getting benefits from the British rulers, and only the Muslims were being blamed to cause harm to the British government. On the other hand, he was strongly in favor of the Muslims educating themselves and improving their situation, as they were living in very poor conditions and were not able to get government jobs or win the confidence of the rulers for being uneducated and not willing to learn English language. He set up the Muhammadan Anglo-Oriental College, which later became Aligarh University. Maulana Muhammad Ali Johar was so keen for the freedom of India from the British rule that while addressing the British government, he said, "I would prefer to die in a foreign country so long as it is a free country. And if you do not give us freedom in India, you will have to give me a grave here." He was a key figure in Khilafat movement. He represented the Muslim delegation that travelled to England in 1919 to convince the British government to influence the Turkish nationalist Mustafa Kemal not to depose the Sultan of Turkey, who was the Caliph of Islam and the presumed leader of all Islamic nations of that time. He was one of the founding members of the All India Muslim League and served as its president in 1918. He attended the Round Table Conference in London in 1930 to show that only the Muslim League spoke for India's Muslims. Reportedly, his words to the British government were that he would not return to India alive unless the country was set free. And he actually died there and was buried in Jerusalem. Another Muslim leader, Zafar Ali Khan, gave a wake-up call to the Muslims. His poetic verse on the screen is the translation of the Quranic verse which says, "Surely Allah changes not the condition of people until they change that which is in their hearts." He served the Pakistan movement through his writings. He was one of the supporters of the resolution which led to the creation of All India Muslim League at Dhaka in 1906. He was the champion of the Muslim unity and brotherhood all over the world. He was a writer, a poet, a translator, and a journalist. He chose to write in Urdu. His poems have religious and political points of view. The Zamindar newspaper, when he was the proprietor and editor, was the Urdu newspaper for the Muslims. Trying to convince the Muslims of India to fight for their rights, Nawab Vikarul Mulk said, "If the British rule disappears from India, Hindus will lord over it, and we will be in constant danger of our life, property, and honor." In December 1906, Nawab Vikarul Mulk, Sir Aga Khan, and Nawab Salimullah Khan of Dhaka organized an All India Muhammadan Educational Conference in Dhaka. And on the same occasion, they also launched a new party called All India Muslim League, of which Nawab Vikarul Mulk became General Secretary. He was one of the most active followers of Sir Syed and a very active worker of his camp. He worked very hard for making the educational movement of Sir Syed popular. He raised a huge amount of money for the establishment of the MAO College. In 1907, he was appointed Honorary Secretary of MAO College. These famous words of Allama Muhammad Iqbal gave a new life to the Muslims of India. He said, "The formation of a consolidated Northwest Indian Muslim state appears to me to be the final destiny of the Muslims, at least of Northwest India." He was the first to put forward the idea of a separate state for the Muslims of the subcontinent in his speech at Allahabad in 1930. In March 1940, at a historic meeting in Lahore, a resolution was passed by the Muslim League calling for a separate state for the Muslims. Through his marvelous poems, he inspired the Muslims of India. He tried to revive the spirit which had made the Muslims successful in the past. He urged the Muslims to get their own country in which they could lead their lives according to their religion. Chaudhry Rahmat Ali strongly believed in the need of a separate state for the Indian Muslims. He said, "There are many nations living in the subcontinent. Among them, Hindus and Muslims are two big nations which could not join with each other even after living together for many centuries." He published several pamphlets in which he added various maps of the subcontinent with potential names that the new proposed nation might have according to him. He suggested the name Pakistan for the new state for a separate Muslim homeland in the subcontinent and is generally known as the founder of the Pakistan National Movement. Here is a map of the proposed new Muslim state made by Chaudhry Rehmat Ali in 1940. Inspiring the Muslims by examples from the past, Liaquat Ali Khan said, "The martyrdom of Imam Hussain Raziyallahu Ta'ala Anhu teaches us a lesson that whatever problems or dangers we face, we must not be afraid and must not get deviated from the path of truth and justice." According to the concern of Quaid-e-Azam to concentrate on the majority Muslim provinces like those of Bengal, Assam, Punjab, Sindh, NWFP and Balochistan, because these provinces were going to form part of Pakistan demand, he strengthened the cause of the Muslim League there. He worked as the Honorary General Secretary of the Muslim League from 1936 till the establishment of Pakistan in 1947. He was made the first Prime Minister of Pakistan after Pakistan was created in 1947. He is known as Qaid-e-Millat, the leader of the nation. The most prominent Muslim leader at that time, however, was a lawyer called Muhammad Ali Jinnah, who stated, "The story of Pakistan, its struggle and its achievement is the very story of great human ideals, struggling to survive in the face of great odds and difficulties." He is the father of our nation. He is known with love and respect as Quaid-e-Azam, which means great leader. Without his sincere efforts and hard work, there would be no Pakistan today. At first, Jinnah worked unceasingly to bring Hindus and Muslims closer together. But he soon felt that the policies of the Hindus would not benefit the Muslims. Then he devoted himself to defending Muslim rights and for independence. Thank you, dear students, and I hope that as true citizens of Pakistan, you will try to follow in their footsteps.